Welcome to our Senior High 7 p.m. stream. My name is Becky, if we've not met, and this is...
John.
John.
I'm John. Sorry, it took me a minute there.
So, like last week, apparently we're having a bit of a day where we're a little tongue-tied, so we apologize in advance. It's been a bit of an interesting day so far. So first, we'll just see who's in our chat already. It looks like it's been pretty busy. I see Annalise is there, Mark, Alex, Jesse, Damien.
Woo.
Hi, guys. It looks so busy. Joshua, I see there. That's super awesome. I'm glad to see you guys here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight and going to start up a new series, which is super cool.
Totally.
So yeah, we're stoked for tonight. Now, before we get started, just something to let you guys know. Things have been a little different around the youth department today because we've had some changes happen very recently with who is here and who's not able to be here. So right now, we actually have Lydia being our tech wizard today,
Woo!
which is
Lydia.
awesome. So you can give her some claps in the
doing
chat,
awesome.
say hi, give her some love. Unfortunately, that is because Austin is home with a migraine right now, which is really not great. So we're going to pray for him in a minute here. So just know that Austin is not around, but he will be back hopefully as soon as possible. So if you could keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, that'd be super awesome. We also don't have Josh hanging around right now because he's moving, which is awesome.
Big
so
job.
that's happening right now. So he won't be here today. And Moses is also not going to be here for a little while, unfortunately, because this morning his wife did wake up with a bit of a sore throat. Just like Jono did a couple weeks ago. So just to be cautious, we are making sure that he stays home for the next 2 weeks, just to make sure that he and his wife can stay healthy, and that we can stay healthy as a team too. So it's unfortunate to not see them here, but they're still going to be part of the chat. So you can see Moses in the chat and you can say hi to him there. It's just going to look a little different for the next 2 weeks. Now, before we pray, just one thing I want to remind you of is a friend of ours, because obviously we want to be very careful and cautious that we're taking care of each other, so staying home is one of those things. But also another one is our lovely friend Darcy. So this is our social distancing stick to prove to you that we are sitting 6 feet apart at all times, adhering to those laws to make sure that we're trying to keep us healthy and you guys healthy at the same time. So thank you, Darcy. Now we're going to just take a moment and we're going to pray for Austin, just because we know that it's no fun having a migraine. So Jono, would you mind taking the lead on that?
Absolutely, yeah. So let's bow our heads. Father, I just want to thank you for this fun time that we get together to have good memories and just interact with everyone. I just pray for Austin. I pray that you would just help him with the headache and the stuff that he's experiencing. I also want to pray for Josh and all the big moves and decisions, that you'd be with them to give him wisdom and work through all of that, as well as with Moses and Anna. God, that you'd bless them and keep them and protect them from anything. And we just pray for all these things in your name, Jesus.
Amen. Thank you, Jono. And we're hoping that you feel better very soon, Austin and Anna too. We'll miss having you guys around. But without further ado, it looks like we're getting right into stuff right away. So we're going to be jumping into our next section, which is, of course, a game. And guys, it's a brand new game today, which is super fun.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Jono has been stressing about this a little bit, and I understand why. I'm really happy about it because I'm the game master, so I can plan all the things, and then they have to do it. So that's super fun. So today we're going to be doing something called What's in the Box. So you might have seen this floating around on YouTube. Lots of different channels do something similar, or late night shows as well. And it's a pretty fun game, pretty simple game. So what's going to be happening is we're going to be having 2 contestants who today, one of them is Jono, and then our other contestant is going to be Amy, one of our custodial staff here at Center Street Church. She's going to be joining us as well. And they're going to be guessing items in a box using only the sensation of touch. So what's going to happen is they will have a box, there are holes in the box, they have to stick their hands in, they cannot see what it is, and they need to be able to guess it within 30 seconds. Now, the kind of caveats with this is it's not just going to be everyday normal things all the time. Some of these things could be living.
It's so gross.
They could be disgusting. They could be whatever it is. It's fun. So I had fun putting some of this together, and we're really excited to see how these contestants are going to take it. So how this is going to work is I'm going to
crack under pressure.
You're going to be okay. John, you are going first, so just so you know that.
Okay.
What's going to happen is I'm going to step off the screen because I'll be facilitating from there and making sure that all of the boxes are ready to go. And Jono is going to be bringing a box on the screen screen, and he will reveal the item to you before he is able to figure it out. So feel free, you are more than welcome to react in the chat to try and throw him off, or to tell him what it is. Whatever you want to do, you're more than welcome. But without further ado, I'm going to hop off and
All right.
get ready.
Here we go. So I'm going to go grab the item.
All right, so this is the front of, yes, that's the front.
This is what I'm showing.
That's the front, yes.
All right, here we go.
All right, check.
I'm just
check.
rolling the card over here, and I'm hoping that we can get this in the
Hopefully
shot.
you guys can hear me now. So at this point, we're going to be rolling up the box.
All right, here we go.
And Jono,
So
when you are ready, you are able to lift that up.
All right.
Wonderful. And
This
stick
is
your
so
hands
weird
in.
because I don't like not. Okay,
You
what
have
is that?
30
What is that?
seconds
What is
to
that?
figure
Okay,
that-
that's a plate. That's a plate. Okay.
Describe
Oh.
your
It's
thought
so
process.
cold. It's so cold and slimy. What is that? What is that?
I don't know. That's your job to figure out.
Blah! I hate this game already.
You have 15 seconds. What do you think it is?
Is it butter?
It's not butter.
Is it ham? Like,
No,
what is that?
ham.
Pudding. Cold pudding.
It's not pudding.
Ah!
You have 10
So
seconds.
gross.
9, 8.
I don't know what it is. Is it like
7,
sauteed butter? I don't know.
5, 4,
Oh, that's gross.
3,
Oatmeal.
2,
Milk.
1.
I have no
All right,
idea.
I wouldn't give you milk. You're allergic.
Okay.
So this is. You can look at it and lift it up and out if you like. It is
Oh.
instant mashed
Oh, okay, that was
potatoes.
as
Yes,
bad as it
Josh
felt.
Flores, you got that. Nice
Oh.
job. So it doesn't look that bad, but
It felt
is
gross.
quite
Like, it actually
yeah.
felt so gross.
All right, just be careful of the mic.
All
there.
right.
Awesome. So
We
we got no points for Jono on this very first round. That's okay. You have a chance to redeem yourself. So Amy, you're going to be bringing this one in. This is the front of your box here.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
All right, so just be careful of the mic stand there.
I got it.
Here we go.
Hey guys.
Hi, this is Amy.
Some of
She's
you
one of
might
our
know me.
custodial staff.
Some of
Yeah.
you might not.
She is awesome. If you don't know her, say hi to her the next time you are able to be in the building. So, Amy, if you are ready, yes, you can
Oh,
reveal
am I
to us
ready?
what it
That's
is.
a tricky
Whoop.
one. That's
All
so
right.
My rug is sliding.
What is this?
How's that?
What is
Good?
That's great. When you're ready, let us know, and we're going to start the
Your giggling is
timer.
making me really nervous. Okay,
Our
here we
people
go.
are excited for you in the chat.
I'm ready.
You ready? 30 seconds starts.
Whoa! It's a plant.
Wow! You are too good at this game, Amy!
It's
I don't know where my bell
leaves,
is.
man, it's leaves.
There you
What
go!
plant is it? Should I
It is
guess?
a plant. It is a spider plant. I was really
Ah,
hoping that the
so
movement of the
pretty.
leaves would scare you.
That's a
but
nice plant. I hope it
apparently
was
not.
gentle.
Great. All right, guys, you can bring that off, and we're gonna just swap out the cards.
I think this game is rigged just for all of you
It's rigged.
at home there. I had to touch something gross and Amy got the plant.
Excuse
What
me?
is this? All right, we'll see what this next
All
thing
right.
is that Becky's going to torture me with.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, John. I'm really excited for this one.
All right, I'm hopping on over here. Just be
Sorry
careful
about
with
that,
the boom mic thing, whatever you call it, boomstick. All right, what am I doing here? Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
All right, your 30 seconds begins now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's a plate. Is that a plate?
It is not a plate.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm really scared. What is that? No, seriously. What is that? What is that? What is that, Becky? What are you doing to me here?
I'm not telling you, man. I told you I had to keep some things contained and interesting.
Oh, what is that? What is that? This is so brutal. It moved. It moved. What is that?
I'm not gonna tell you. You have 15 seconds.
It's something living. I'm not. Ah! What is that? Becky, are they ants or like? Oh, is it a mouse?
They're not. No, this
Is
is
it
not
alive?
a mouse.
Is it alive?
It is alive.
Ah! Is it a? I have no words. I have no words. What is this thing?
You have 10, 9, 8,
This is so scary.
7,
It's so gross.
6,
Ah! What is that? What is that?
3, 2,
I'm okay. No.
Any guesses?
No, moth. I don't know.
Come and find out. Oh my goodness, it's coming out.
Ah!
Oh,
Oh my goodness, why would you do that?
Crawling down.
Why would you do that?
Well, I can't do it.
I can't do it. You want me to take those?
Big jump.
What are those?
Okay.
Jump.
They're locusts? Or
Chaos is
You guys.
enjoying-
All right. Well, that's in the studio now. Well, okay. So.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Step on it.
Okay, it's okay.
Step on
Shh.
it.
No. We're gonna save them. Okay, just focus.
They're escaping everywhere.
so
Okay, we're gonna
It
contain
is
this
crickets.
later.
Bring it
They
up.
are live crickets.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
And even with my attempts to try and contain them, we did have 2 escape, which is pretty great. And they did, unfortunately, almost give themselves away earlier because they started chirping. So I'm quite glad that things have worked out.
Yeah, they're gone.
All right, well, it sounds like we're going to have some chirping crickets for the next few weeks. All right, Amy, we have you coming up next. This is the front of your box here. So why don't you go on in there?
There's crickets up here somewhere, you guys.
All right, you're going to be okay. I will help you track them
I'm
down
watching
later.
my feet. Cause I'm scared.
All right, here we go. The next item. It is also contained. So
I
just
swear, man, if it's more crickets, I swear. I swear.
All right, here we go. Your 30 seconds begins now.
I'm so scared. I'm so
Yeah.
Okay, you're going too far forward. You're out of the box.
I'm out of the box.
You're
I'm in
out
the
of the
box.
Oh, now you're in the box.
It's a bowl. It's a bowl.
It's a bowl.
Oh, I have to go in the bowl. Oh no. this is such a small hole. You guys.
the worst part
My arms aren't long enough.
don't know what is in there. Oh man.
Almost
Oh.
giving you some tips
Oh.
there, John.
Is it alive?
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
There's water.
Yeah, it feels weird, doesn't it?
There's water. You. It's slimy.
It is slimy. Did it move?
I don't know. It's slimy. I think
You have 10 more
I don't think I
seconds.
can reach back in, you
9,
guys.
8,
I.
7,
Okay.
6,
Okay. It's
5.
it's slimy.
Oh, it moved.
What?
3,
Oh yeah, you're punking me.
1.
It's just
Any
a slimy-
guesses?
It's just a slimy rock.
It is not a slimy rock. You need to come out in the front and check it out.
So gross.
Oh.
All right, I was hoping that I'd pull you.
It was
Unfortunately
so
not.
slimy. Oh,
If
man.
you want, you can pull our little friend out and show everybody. It is a little baby alligator,
What shall we name him?
but he is not living, which is really sad.
It's very
Um,
nice and slimy.
All right.
I'm gonna put him back in his enclosure.
Great job. Okay, so this next piece is going to be our final attempt
I gotta
to
even
get
score.
points. So at this point, our scoreboard, I'm gonna make sure the lid is on that container. Our scoreboard is at 1-0 for Amy. So Jono, this is your chance to tie it up with Amy. I'm just gonna put down the mic for a quick second.
So gross.
On the floor somewhere. All right, so Amy, you actually have to leave the room.
Oh boy.
Because this is going to be the same thing for you as it is for Jono.
Okay.
The person who can figure it out the fastest will get extra points.
All right. Okay, I think I've calmed myself down a bit. I mean, the worst part of this game is you just don't know what you're sticking your hand into, and I am a person that likes to know. So,
Here we go.
this better
You
not be
can-
some spider or some stupid thing like that.
You can
okay.
begin.
All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so unfortunately, I feel a glass casing over it, so
Uh-huh.
it's probably alive, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, it's a plate of sorts.
A plate.
Okay.
You thought the plate last time was closed too, so.
Okay. Oh, I don't like this at all. This is so weird.
If you can't tell at home, John has gone red in the face.
Ugh, that's gross. What is that? Some sort of food?
Maybe.
That's like. it
We
feels
have
like
some people thinking
steak.
bacon.
I think
Beans,
that's-
perhaps?
Is it like?
You have 10 more seconds.
Is it like refried beans or
Not
is it?
refried beans.
Is it steak?
9, 8,
Casserole.
7,
Tuna.
6,
Uh,
5,
guts?
4.
Is it guts?
I mean, in a way. Okay.
Is it brain matter?
3.
Is it brain matter? Is this like from a lab?
Where do you think I'm gonna source brain
I don't
matter?
know. You got crickets, so.
Same place.
Same place. All right, your time is
All
up,
right.
Shauna. It is not brain matter. It is chicken and liver.
Oh.
Which is
I was kind of
super
close.
fun.
That's pretty gross.
Leftover
but-
wings from Friday.
Oh,
Good guess,
okay.
by the way. No. But Aiden, you are mostly right. Liver and chicken.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move that off. That was.
So no points for you, John, unfortunately.
That's really too bad.
So right now, there's no way that you can win this game. But can you grab Amy?
I plugged my ears really good. I have no
Good.
idea what happened in here.
All right, so that part is the front of your cart.
That-
Okay.
It is the same thing.
This the first?
John is accidentally
Whoop,
revealing
running
things
into the
on the
mic.
side here.
There we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. No.
You got this. I promise.
Okay. Ready?
Ready? Go.
Okay. Am I? Oh. Ah! I figure I can't look at my fingers.
smells
right?
so
I'm not
No,
looking
you
at my
can't look at
fingers.
your fingers.
Not looking at my fingers.
You
Don't
can
lick your
describe
fingers,
to us
Mother.
what you're sensing right now with your
It's
fingers, with
slimy.
your
Ooh.
nose. This one is one that you can
What
squish.
is that? Ew, ew, ew. Okay, it does smell like food though.
It is a type of food, yes. I will give you that.
I don't even.
You have 10 more seconds.
What is that?
9, 8, 7,
Like, oh.
5,
I don't have any guesses. It stinks.
It
Um,
definitely does.
2.
it's food.
One.
It's just gross.
It is food. It is
Cold
gross
food.
food.
Gross cold food.
I will not give you that point, unfortunately. It
is
is
it?
chicken and liver, which is
Oh.
so great. Yeah, you can take a
Yeah,
look at it.
it's
Yes. We have wet wipes for you over here to wash your hands.
bad.
Thank you so much for participating. Amy is our winner. So you guys can give her
Thanks,
some
guys.
in the chat. Nice job, Amy.
I'll take my check.
It'll be the chicken and liver. You can take that home with you. But thank you so much for playing, Amy. I'm going to be coming off the mic and coming on the stage, so John is going to be up there. Matt is looking around for the second
crickets from
Oh my gosh.
escaped cricket.
Oh my goodness.
They're tiny little guys.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna
It's
be
okay.
just fine. We're gonna be just fine.
Okay, all right.
Everything will be okay. So I tried really hard to keep them contained for the most part, but it looks like the plexiglass got moved a little bit, so they snuck out. So that was not planned, but super
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah, so we're gonna hear that. I apologize, Matt.
This stinks so bad.
It
I know it
smells so
stinks.
bad.
It
Yeah.
stinks.
Oh.
But anyways,
I like Lysol
that
my
was super
hands
fun.
and wipe them and like napkin them. I'm probably gonna have to go like, I don't know, scrape them with sandpaper later.
Yes.
Ugh.
Okay, so that was pretty fun. I didn't get a chance to go all out at this point because we don't have access to lots of things. Even though Jono, for some reason, thinks that I have access to brain matter for some reason, just because I did
I don't know, from your
science.
bio days or something? Who knows?
Yeah, I just keep it in my fridge for just such occasions.
There are people out there.
Yeah, no, that is not the case. I will promise you that. So at this point, we just we played it pretty tame with the crickets. We did mealworms earlier as well, but
That was messed up.
Matt almost lost it. But we're really interested if we do this again. Would you guys want to see this again? And we're interested in what you guys would want us to put in the box. So next
Ugh.
time, if we do this, we want your thoughts of what we should put in the box, what would be awesome, scary, gross, because we know that you guys have some pretty great ideas. So you can throw them in the chat now if you like, or send us a DM, or when we come to the time when we're going to do it again, we'll probably set up an Instagram question so you guys can answer it there. Yeah, so thanks for playing, John, and being a great
Absolutely.
sport. And Amy, too, thank you so much. We're glad to have you here. We're going to transition now into a little bit of a different topic. Not as gross or weird or anything like that, but definitely important and awesome. So, welcome for those of you who've joined us in the meantime of the game that we've been playing. We're pretty excited because today we're actually starting a brand new series. We just finished up our Noticing God and our Acts Pentecost series, and you guys had some really awesome questions for us, and we did a discussion and everything, and we're really stoked about that because, guys, this next series is all about wrestling with big questions. So if you're not aware, if you haven't heard of it before, we are doing the Alpha series next, which is going to be super awesome. I mentioned it last week that we're going to be doing this, and if you have done it before, to not just kind of write it off, because we're hoping that you'd be able to potentially chat with somebody who might have these same questions and be able to help walk them through wrestling with some of these questions as well.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about this. So I have a question for you. I have a question for you. I'm curious if you've ever had a big question that you haven't been able to answer. You haven't found somebody who's willing to actually wrestle through stuff to figure out the answer with you, or people just didn't know the answer. It's kind of something that's pretty prevalent out there. I know I've had some big questions that I haven't been able to find somebody to answer them or being willing to wrestle through some of the things with me. But I want to make sure that that's not the case for you guys. We want to make sure that we're having a chance to give you the opportunity to ask big questions and walk through them with us. So sometimes that can be difficult. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable, and that's why some people avoid answering big questions. But we don't want to shy away from having those big conversations here in our youth program, our youth ministry, I should say. So that's why we're going to do our Alpha series. We're going to wrestle through things like, who was Jesus? Why do I pray? What is evil? And some big questions like that. So while we're doing this, we want to make sure that we have these conversations really well, because it is a possibility that sometimes these questions can bring up strong emotions and strong opinions.
Yep.
And we want to make sure that in the process we are respecting each other and giving the opportunity to actually wrestle. So John, can you give us kind of an overview of how we're going to have these conversations?
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to highlight some key important pieces to this whole this whole experience we're about to enter in.
Guys,
Sorry.
we're tongue-tied today. I'm so sorry.
But there's three things we want to I guess set the guidelines for.
Yeah.
The first thing is you can ask anything about the topic as long as you aren't putting other people down or preventing others from speaking or having their own idea. So that's really, really key. We respect each other by listening and allowing different opinions to be shared. So not all of us on here may be Christians. Some of us may be asking questions about what is this whole Christian thing about. And the other thing about it is we need to keep things confidential when you leave. So in some of your Zoom groups after, when you get together, there'll be things that are discussed amongst us, and we want to make sure that we're not sharing private information to people that aren't privy to that. So if we keep these three things in the back of our minds as we're going forward, I'm hoping that some of your friends that have been struggling with questions, or people that genuinely are curious about what are the answers to these big questions, would be able to come on with us for the next few Wednesdays and dig into these topics.
Yeah. So we just want to let you guys know that in the description we have a link to the Alpha book for you guys. So if you want to follow along, there are the questions in there and some other good stuff that we'll chat about later. But if you want, you can pull that up by just clicking the link in the description right below here and follow along. Now, are you ready for the wrestle?
I'm ready for the wrestle.
If you guys are ready, you're ready to dive in and start wrestling with some big questions, why don't you guys throw in a wrestling emoji or a boxing glove or a question mark or something like that to show that you're ready to go. We are super pumped. We're really excited about this series. We know that it's a big thing to tackle, and we want to make sure that you guys know we are not the people with all the answers. We don't know everything, obviously. We're here to just have conversation with you too.
Absolutely.
So we will try our best to answer your questions and facilitate these questions well. But we're in this to kind of wrestle through these things with you too. So we're going to try our best to answer your questions and work through this with you. But yeah, we're excited. So it looks like we've got a few. We've got wrestling emoji. Woo! We got some, not the wrestle. We've got some. What are these? Thumbs ups. Wow. I'm so...
Somebody get her caffeine.
Guys.
All right, anyways.
It's been a day. So, The big question that we're going to be wrestling through today is this it?
Mm-hmm.
So the life that we're living right now, is this all that there is? So the situation that we're in, once we're past it, whatever comes next after that, whatever, that's going to be it, and then we pass away. Is that true? Is that really the case? So I guess the question I want to ask you guys is, have you ever asked yourself what the point of your life is? Have you thought about if there's something more to your life than just what you're doing right now, the situation that you find yourself in? That's a very, very big question. So I don't know if you have, but if you haven't at this point, you probably will in the coming
Absolutely.
years.
Yep.
Especially some of you guys who are graduating at this point, I'm sure you're probably wrestling with some questions of what do I do with my life and where do I go and why am I here, and trying to wrestle through those big things. So that is what we're going to kind of chat through today. So in this very first episode, we're going to talk through why Christianity says that life is bigger than the daily grind that we're kind of working through. So we're going to pass things off to our friends at the Alpha team. Their names are Jason and Ben, who are going to be walking with us through this whole kind of series. So we're going to be watching a video with them and answering questions and doing some fun discussion things. So get comfortable, because we're going to pass it over to Jason and Ben.
Have a good day.
We're about to embark on the journey of a lifetime, and this adventure is going to take us all over the world as we hear stories and talk about ideas that you will never forget.
Alpha is a series of sessions designed to engage us in a conversation about some of life's most important questions. This isn't going to be a lecture where we do all the talking. It's a conversation. Everyone will have a chance to ask questions and share their thoughts.
We're so excited to go on this adventure with you. But before we go any further, I'm Jason, and this is Ben, and we want to welcome you to Alpha. In every Alpha session, we're going to explore a different topic. We want to make you think about what you believe and help spark a conversation with the people around you.
So in each episode, there'll be 3 short breaks for discussion.
Yeah, we'll throw up a question, hear people from all over the world give an answer to it, and then give you a chance to discuss it together.
And our questions are just a starting point. You can take the conversation anywhere you want.
Some of them might take a little bit of thought, but others are just icebreaker questions. They're there to get the conversation going. Like, for example, Ben, if you had 24 hours where you could do anything you wanted to, what would you do? Because I've already got some ideas.
Wait, could I bring friends?
As many as you want. We talking unlimited money?
Oh yeah, unlimited funds.
Unlimited funds.
I don't think this is a good idea.
It's a bad idea. Pick another one.
Okay, new idea.
I don't know. I'd play with a bunch of tigers. Okay, I'm just gonna spitball now.
Okay.
Thinking out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
In a snowmobile.
Okay,
Down a mountain.
yeah. Off a cliff. Parachute.
Sticks the landing.
Man,
Blow some money on some clothes and then travel.
skydive. Off top, skydive.
Grabbing all my family, grabbing all my friends. I'm buying a big island.
Just like rent out an island or something.
I would be with a couple of buddies of mine in a yacht, be with some nice girls.
I would, first of all, buy a PS4 Pro.
Go to Disney World, bounce around to a couple of different art museums.
Well, I'm a fashion designer, so I'd probably want to do a show in Copenhagen or something, and then go party with a bunch of really popular fashion people.
If we had 24 hours,
We just
unlimited
eat.
money, we would just eat.
What just happened? Oh,
Hey guys, so yeah, I just want to throw out the question there. If you had 24 hours, unlimited resources, what would you do and why? That's a really cool question.
It's a really big one.
Yeah.
So throw it up in the chat if you've got some ideas of the cool things that you'd want to do with all that.
Totally. So Becky,
No. Yes.
have you thought about this question? And what
A little bit.
would you do?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, in light of all the stuff that's happening with COVID right now, like not being able to see people and hang out with friends and stuff, and like friends of mine got married yesterday and we couldn't actually go to their wedding, and it's really sad. So I would throw a huge party. It'd be
Sweet.
super fun. But I'm thinking like not just like any like a house party. It'd be like, let's go out to like a big, like set up a big stage, have a whole bunch of really super awesome bands
Cool.
come,
Very cool.
play some great music, do some worship, hang out with all of my favorite people, and then have like lots of really awesome food and fireworks, and it would be great.
That sounds
Just
like an
super
awesome
fun
time.
party.
Yeah, it sounds like an awesome time.
What about you?
I've been thinking about this one, and something that I have just been kind of rekindling. Actually, she used to be a big fan of Formula One race cars, and if I could
Interesting.
race all of the top cars, like Ferrari, like Aston Martins, McLarens, and like take them on racetracks and like just feel the power of each of these engines,
Okay.
that would be awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, that's a very interesting take. I would never do that, but that's okay. I'm hoping that in this situation you have like immunity to like a car
Danger.
crash or something like that. But
Yeah.
all right, let's see what other people are. Delete Corona.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, if you have unlimited funds.
I agree with that.
You
I
could
agree with that.
like, find it out. Emma would go to the zoo and hang out with the butterfly room all day with unlimited amounts of ice cream.
Nice. That's a good
I
choice.
love
And
that.
it's Zoe. That was Zoe.
Oh,
not
it was
Emma.
Zoe.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh.
Welcome, Zoe.
Zoe, you are a girl after my heart because I mean I work at the zoo, so that's one of
Oh,
my.
eat all the
I love
gluten
that.
things?
Eat all the
Totally.
gluten.
There you go.
Or probably DJ somewhere. Jesse, I didn't know that you were
Nice.
DJ. That's awesome. Watch the entire Star Wars trilogy with John Favreau and,
And Baby Yoda. Excellent choice,
Take
sir.
your friends to Italy. You would race Jono! Hey, we got a youth pass
Yes.
to Formula One
If we
race
could, oh, that'd be
happening.
so much fun.
That's super
Yeah.
awesome. I can't read bagel, donuts, noodles, cinnamon buns.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
That's great.
And unlimited chocolate covered popcorn and
Binge watch Shadowhunters.
okay,
Invest.
that's what that was. Sorry, I couldn't
That
read
is
that from
wise,
here.
Alex. Very wise.
Very
Invest
good.
the unlimited
Invest
funds.
your
that
unlimited
you
funds
have.
to make more investments of unlimited
That's,
funds.
is that like wishing for more wishes though?
Kind of. I mean,
feel
that's
like
kind of
it
a break
is.
in. I mean, unless you're talking specifically investing. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways.
Okay, anyways, that is a really great, fun question. We're going to have lots of questions like these all throughout Alpha, and we want to see kind of what your answers are, so feel free to interact with us through those questions. We're going to turn it back over to our friends Jason and Ben, who are going to start digging into the conversation about life. Is this it?
Cool.
Life is busy. Tons of things happen in our lives every day. And in a 24-hour period, we ask ourselves so many different questions like, what should I eat? What should I wear? Or who should I hang out with? Sometimes we ask bigger questions like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Who will I marry? Or where will I live? But every once in a while, we ask ourselves those even bigger questions. Questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And is there more to life than this? The reality is, there aren't a lot of places we can go to explore life's biggest questions. So on Alpha, we want to create a space where we can talk about those kind of questions in a way that's open and honest.
In each session, Jason and I will look at a different topic, and we'll talk about it from a Christian perspective. Now, I know that just mentioning the word Christian may bring up a lot of questions, and you may be thinking, am I going to be the only one here who doesn't believe all this stuff, or who isn't a Christian?
Yeah, and if that's you, then you're in the right place because Alpha is specifically designed for people who wouldn't necessarily call themselves Christians.
I know for me, growing up, I wasn't very interested in church or Christianity. I just thought the whole thing was boring. I imagined old people singing old songs, reading from old books, and drinking tea together. I just never really imagined myself
I
as...
love tea. You just mentioned tea, and then it popped in my mind that I tried this new iced, sweetened green tea, a little bit of lemonade in there.
That sounds delicious.
It's so refreshing, and
Did you get it here, or where?
I got it local. When I first really started thinking about Christianity, I wondered if the whole thing was even true. Like, are there any intelligent reasons to believe this stuff? And I guess also it just didn't seem to have any relevance in my life. I used to ask myself, like, how could a story about someone who lived 2,000 years ago on the other side of the world have anything to do with my life today?
I heard someone say that in each one of our hearts, it's like we have a happiness bucket that we're constantly trying to fill. It can sound like this. If I just had more money or nicer clothes or a new girlfriend, then I'd be happy.
Yeah, or if I just got better grades or knew all the right people or had like the perfect job, then my life would be totally complete. But the weird thing is, no matter how much stuff we try to fill our happiness buckets with, we're still left wanting. And as good as those things can be, we can't shake the feeling that there must be more to life than this.
It's like there's a void in each one of our hearts. There's this deeper, even spiritual hunger that we're all trying to satisfy.
Jesus Christ, who's the central figure in the Christian faith, said this. He said, "I am the bread of life." And it's as if he's saying, I'm the one who fills that void. I'm the one who satisfies that hunger.
When I was young, at the age of about 12, my mother had a major nervous breakdown and she was hospitalized for extended periods of time. My father also struggled with alcoholism. I had two brothers and we were basically left in many ways to raise ourselves. Those experiences marked me, and going to bed at night, I remember through my tears saying, "God, if you're there, I hate you." And I decided the childhood that I had was not going to be my life. At the age of 18, I committed to the idea of becoming a millionaire by the age of 30. So by the age of 35, the idea of being a millionaire had been achieved. I owned a company with over 500 employees. I had a beautiful home, beautiful wife, 2 kids. I could go where I want, when I wanted. I had way more money than I ever hoped for, but I wasn't happy. And I realized that there's still a deep darkness inside of me, a void. So now I'm forced into this really profound, deep journey, like what's life all about? I have epilepsy, and for some reason, I started having seizures more frequently. We have a lady who worked for us at that time in our home. Her name is Bonnie, and she was a very sweet lady, a Christian lady. Bonnie saw me after having a seizure one day, and she called my wife and she said that God had told her to come pray for me. And I said, well, I know it's not going to do any good, but I like Bonnie. So she prayed for us, and for some reason I cried through that process. Didn't know why I was crying, but Bonnie left and we thanked her for coming over. So the next day I saw a friend, a neighbor, who went to the same church Bonnie does. And I asked my friend, I said, "Hey, are you going to church tomorrow?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, do you mind if I come with you?" He says, "Sure." He was quite happy to bring me. So the next morning we're standing in church together. And as the worship music begins, for some reason I begin crying. And I'm doing everything in my power not to cry, but tears are running down my face. And in that moment, for the first time, God's love for me was so real. The reality that He loved me was nothing short of completely and totally mind-blowing. I worked hard and pursued wealth my whole adult life, trying to fill a profound emptiness inside of me, a darkness that I walked with every day, only to discover that emptiness could only ever be filled by a relationship with the living God.
Everyone experiences this longing in a different way. And some of us might not even feel that there is that deeper longing.
Yeah, I met a guy called Mark who said, "It's like God has filled a void in my heart that I didn't even know I had until after it was filled." It wasn't until he experienced a relationship with God that he realized that it was the very thing his heart longed for. Because when you experience God's love, it changes everything. I heard it described in a song one time like, life goes from black and white to color all around. All is new. I could play the song if you want. I mean, I got it on my phone.
Yeah.
Play This Is Living by Hillsong Young and Free. Could you guys make it so they can hear it as well? You can? They're gonna. Perfect.
Waking up knowing there's a reason.
Coming home to see Mom cook some nice, delicious African foods.
I love food.
Food, mostly.
Gorditas.
Eating.
Oh man, marijuana, women, mainly music, women that smoke marijuana.
My cat. Her name's Gumbo. Being outdoors.
Animals. Honestly, music.
Time with family. Money.
Music makes me happy.
Animals. I guess you can't really like buy happiness, but you can buy things that make you happy, kind of.
Shopping.
Being with her.
Coffee.
Oh, other people laughing. Like, that's just fun, isn't it? Especially like people that have ridiculous laughs.
Cool. So those are some awesome questions. I'm wondering what makes you guys happy. Just sound off in the comments. Becky, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? That's a great question, and I think it kind of depends on the situation.
Okay.
I've been trying to think about this question and how to answer it, and there's a lot of different things that I could answer it with. I love, like, some of them said music.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy. I'm a musical person. One thing that comes to mind specifically, like, is just if you go to like a cabin somewhere and like you sit on the porch in the early morning, like the water's like still, it's warm because you're like in the sun, but there's like a crispness to the air, and like you're sitting on the porch and you have a hot drink like tea. I know most of you would do coffee, but tea for me. And like just kind of like chilling there in the peace and the calm and listening to the birds. And like I love that. But like other things make me happy too. Like, for example, I recently just started growing, I know this is going to sound real weird, guys. I started growing celery. I'm so excited. And I have, Matt, there's nothing wrong with me growing celery. So I started growing celery, and I was like, yeah, I'm growing this so I can eat it, like put it in soup and whatever. And then, guys, it actually started growing. And these tiny little like leaves started coming out, and I have no idea why, but it brought me so much joy, and I became so attached that, guys, I don't even know if I can eat the celery anymore. I love it so much. It just makes me really happy. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
there are just little things sometimes like that make me happy.
Cool.
But
yeah,
all right,
we
let's
got
see.
Camp Emma. Very, very true. That is true.
Your brother.
Cute.
Yes. Friends.
Damien,
really
Animal
good
Crossing makes me happy. Jesus makes me joyful.
Ants, worship, friends, tea, chocolate, the mountains, hiking. Carla Ray, you're my type of person. Love it.
Mountains with friends. Yep, that's a good time.
That's awesome. Growing things makes you happy too. That's so cool. Well, we can start like a little growing club of some sort. But that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's fun to watch RIP Camp 23. It's okay, guys. It's okay.
We're gonna figure some stuff out.
Think
hopefully.
happy thoughts.
Yes, like we've got plans. Okay, we're hoping to keep you guys as involved and connected as possible in the ways that we can right now.
Yep.
And then hopefully when we do get together, guys.
Oh,
it'll
go to
be
Meet
like
Us. Sorry, I got distracted
party.
by Alma's comment
What?
there. Yeah, absolutely with you there. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to have a great party in here.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good times. We'll bring gorditas. Everyone will be happy.
All
And
right.
what they are is a Mexican thing. They're awesome, really good. Okay.
Without further ado,
All right, we'll go
let's go back to our conversation. We're talking about happiness and how sometimes that's not it. There's more to our lives than just things that make us happy. So Jason and Ben, they're going to take it away for us.
Now, some people's response to Christianity might be, well, that's great for you to believe this stuff, but it's not for me. But if you think about it, it's not actually a logical position, because if Christianity is true, then it's important to every one of us. And if it's not true, then it's not really great for me at all. The author C.S. Lewis put it like this: Christianity, if false, is of no importance, and if true, of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important.
C.S. Lewis was someone who had taken the time to examine the evidence, and he concluded that it's true. And he wasn't the only one either. In fact, many of the most influential scientists were Christians, like Newton, Kepler, Galileo, and Copernicus. And also some of the most respected scientists today, like Francis Collins, who was the director of the Human Genome Project, a project that mapped the entire human DNA.
Well, in the home where I grew up, faith was not something that was talked about very much. My father was a professor of drama, my mother a playwright. When I went to college and those discussions in the dorm late at night about religion began to occur, I had no particular reason to attach value to a faith system. It had never been something I was familiar with or had internalized at all. I ended up in the medical school curriculum sitting at the bedside of patients with diseases. And one afternoon, one of my patients, a wonderful elderly woman, much like a grandmother, who had very bad heart disease. She had a particularly bad episode of chest pain while I was with her. She got through it, and at the end of that, explained to me how her faith was the thing that helped her in that situation. And after she finished her own very personal description of that faith, she turned to me, and I had been silent, and she looked at me quizzically, and she said, "What do you believe, doctor?" And ultimately, I had to admit to myself that her question had made me realize that I had arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist. If there's one thing scientists claim they do is to arrive at conclusions based upon evidence. And I hadn't taken the trouble to do that. I thought Christ was as much myth as history, and I realized after reading more about it, this was a historical figure upon which we have a great deal of evidence for his existence and his teachings, and even his rising from the dead in a literal way. I realized for the first time that one can come to belief on a rational basis, a journey that I thought would result in strengthening my atheism, but to my surprise, resulted in my conversion.
I've heard some people say that faith and science oppose each other. But actually, faith and science work together really well because they both answer different questions. They both offer explanations about the world that complement each other.
Science looks at how things work and describes the laws of the universe. Faith helps make sense of questions like, why do we exist and what's the purpose of life? We'll let our friends Jazzy and Landry explain this a bit more.
Okay, so I had this cake that I just finished baking, and I want to give it to my friend, Landry. Now, if Landry was a scientist and examined the cake, he'd be able to tell you a lot about it, like what it was made of, how it was made, and maybe even when it was made. But he couldn't tell you everything. He couldn't tell you who made it, and more importantly, why it was made. Only the creator of the cake can do that. Only I can tell you I made that cake, and I can tell you why I made that cake. I made it for my friend Landry because he loves cake.
Thanks, Jazzy.
And it's the same with this universe. Only the creator can reveal who made this world and why it was made. And on Alpha, we're gonna explore those questions of who and why.
What would I ask God?
How many other planets have intelligent life?
Probably, how'd you do it?
How it all started.
What eternity looks like.
How much wood could a woodchuck hit? Well, no, okay. I don't know. I really don't know.
Why is there so much war?
Who are you?
Would I be rich?
If we have free will, but you know what's going to happen, how does that work?
Why did you make life so tough for some people?
Where are you? That's probably what I would ask.
What is the meaning of life?
Is there something after now, this life here on the world? Is there something after that?
Are you the only one, or are there any more of you out there?
Why he created mosquitoes.
Why?
Why?
I mean, why, really?
Cool.
Okay, this is a really big question.
Yes, this is one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah. So guys, throw your ideas up in the chat. If you have any questions that you would ask God, like face to face, throw that in there. I know, like, maybe a lot of you are Christians and you pray and you talk with God quite frequently. Some of you may not. Even if you are a Christian and you talk to the Lord on a regular basis, what is one question if you were like face to face with God and he would, like, you were having a conversation that way with him? What would you ask him? And while you guys are thinking about that and throwing those in the chat, I'm gonna ask Jono that question. What would you ask God?
Yeah, I've thought about this one, and something that I would love if I sitting there face to face. Walk me through like the beginning of everything. Walk me through exactly how this makes sense. Like how we came to be, like the planet, the universe. I would love to see that moment in time and literally a play-by-play.
Yeah, give me an instant replay, God.
Yeah,
I need to know.
Yeah, I need to know this
cool.
because so many people have like these ideas and theories and thoughts, and I'm like, what happened?
Can I come?
Yeah.
I want to know too.
I'm sure many of you guys would sympathize with that question.
Yeah, and like I know because of the way you think, like you're very like philosophical and you want to know like the ideas and all that kind of stuff, breakdown of all that.
Yeah.
I want to know the same thing, but for a different reason. I'm very scientific, and I just like want to know how it all works.
The chemical compounds and like the way things all make sense that way.
Yeah, like that's awesome.
It's two sides of the same coin, which I think are pretty cool.
Yeah. So what kind of questions would you guys ask? When will you return?
That's a good question.
Why did you make mosquitoes? Yes, that is a very good question, Tim. I'm sure that there's a good answer, but you know.
Why does that one suck? I always lose go.
That's great. When is quarantine going to be over?
Yeah,
that's a good question as well. What is heaven going to be like? Although we aren't supposed to know that, I suppose. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we get little glimpses and hints about it throughout the Bible, but we just don't know. So that's a great question to be able to ask, and maybe at some point they'll just show you, which is pretty cool. So big question, good question. So if you have any more questions that you think would be cool, throw them in the chat. But we're going to pass it back over to Jason and Ben, who are going to kind of wrap us up in our time and our conversation.
One of the most significant things that Jesus said was, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
When Jesus said, I am the way, he's saying, I am the way to a loving and lasting relationship with God. A relationship that fulfills that longing we all have to be loved and accepted.
When Jesus says, I am the truth, he's not just talking about head knowledge, like memorizing a list of facts about God. It's heart knowledge too. He's saying that truth is personal. You can know God personally.
Yeah, it's the difference between knowing facts about someone and actually knowing them. Imagine for a moment that I didn't know Ben personally, but I started following him on social media. I'd find out pretty quick that he's surprisingly tall. He's an unusually good dancer, and he's average at sports.
Well, you'd also find out he's handsome, he loves his grandma, he's a proud uncle and godfather.
Right. And even if I looked at every single one of Ben's posts, that would just be head knowledge. And that's way different than the personal experience of being friends with Ben for the past 15 years. And what Jesus is saying is that it's possible for us to know God like that, like we know a real friend. And understanding this, like realizing this about Christianity, changed everything for me. I used to think that Christianity had no relevance in my life, but now it's the opposite. Nothing has had a bigger impact on my life today than my relationship with God.
Lastly, Jesus says, I am the life. Ultimately, he's saying that he is the only one who can truly give you full life. Not that it'll all be easy, but that in him we find a life of meaning and fulfillment, a life without guilt or shame.
Yeah, we all know those feelings of guilt. Sometimes it's false guilt, like this one time when I thought I dented my brother's car, but then I found out later that it was...
I thought you did dent his car.
No, what I was saying, before you interrupted me, was that I thought I dented it, but then because I bumped the car, but then when I looked, I told my brother, I felt so bad, I told my brother Paul, and he's like, that scratch was there all along. Anyways, that was false guilt. But I also experienced real feelings of guilt, like we all do, because I do things that are wrong. But the wonderful news is that God loves us in spite of that. God came in the person of his son Jesus to die for you and for me. And on the cross, he took all of our guilt, everything we've ever done wrong, said wrong, or thought wrong, and he died in our place in order that we could be forgiven. And when we receive that forgiveness, we experience life, and life in all its fullness. And that's exactly what Jesus wants for you and for me. Life in all its fullness. Life at its very best.
I don't know what brought you out to Alpha today, but we want you to know that Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. No question is too complex or too simple. You can say what you really think, and feel free to challenge everything.
Today, Alpha is happening in cities all over the world, in over 60 languages and more than 150 countries. Millions of people are getting together with friends and exploring big questions about life, faith, and God. And we want to invite you to join us.
If you live to be 70 years old, on average, this is how you're going to spend your life. You're going to spend 20 years and 3 months asleep, 10 years and 5 months watching TV, 7 years and 6 months eating and drinking, 5 years and 9 months in some form of transportation, 18 months waiting in line, and 6 months at red lights. It's alarming to think that some of us will spend more time sitting at red lights than we will talking about important issues of life and faith.
You have approximately 570,000 hours left to live, and we want to invite you to spend less than 24 of them with us on Alpha.
Okay, so that was a pretty good kind of like introductory kind of conversation. I know it wasn't like a deep dive into all the mechanics and everything just yet, but it's not meant to be right off the bat. You gotta lay a foundation. So at this point, we're just dipping our toes in, and this is a really cool thing because some of you may have been invited by somebody who's part of Center Street, and you're maybe not a regular person who comes to Center Street Youth. So if you are, by the way, welcome. We're excited that you're here. But we know that not everybody who is watching right now may be a Christian or claim to be a Christian at this point, and this is the point where they get to actually start asking these questions and start wrestling. So that's a pretty cool thing. And the people who are pretty confident in what they think and what they believe, that's pretty awesome to have you guys here to be able to help answer those questions that some of those people who have those haven't figured it out just yet or haven't walked through their process, to be able to help them in the process. That's pretty sweet. So we're not wanting to shy away from these big questions. We want to wrestle through them with you, and we're going to be able to do that over the next 9 weeks, other than this one, I guess. We're going to have some really big questions to answer, and we're really looking forward to that. Now, again, if you haven't checked out the book that we have linked in the description, it's just below here. You can check that out. We highly recommend that you open that up and check it out because we have questions in there, but we also have something super awesome for you guys to follow up with. So we have something, if you've been doing our youth kind of stuff over the last little while, you'll recognize the star at home thing, and that's just the method of getting into the Word and studying it for yourself. So you're not relying on a pastor or one of your leaders or anything like that to speak to you to help you figure out the truth. You're relying on the Word and God to be able to open up your eyes and your heart to some big answers. So we have that available in there as well. It's like a little devotional that you can do for the week that'll help you kind of dig into these questions a little bit more. So we recommend that. I think that's pretty much that for this episode. We're really looking forward to what's coming. I think next week we're going to be chatting through kind of who Jesus is, because he's a pretty controversial character in the world, and I know some of us who maybe have grown up with Jesus, we've grown up in the church, it might not make sense why that's a controversial thing. So we're going to talk through some of that next week and kind of start to wrestle through why some other perspectives exist out there. So we're really glad that you guys joined us again this week. Thank you so much for interacting with us and kind of answering some questions and having some fun with us. We're going to dive a little deeper as we go. I know that we had some great times the last couple of weeks diving really deep and answering some really big questions. Super cool ones. Don't worry, we're not like pulling back and going surface level from here. We're just starting. We're just gradually getting into that. So we're really excited. Now, if you have questions after today, feel free to chat with your friends or your leaders or us. There are ways that you can connect with us as well. If you put !chat or !prayer in the chat bot or chat box there. That will get you connected with one of us to be able to talk through some questions or get some prayer. But again, you're also welcome to chat with your leaders too. Remember, not all of us have all of the answers. We want to work together as a team to help you out and wrestle through kind of all of these questions that we're trying to answer. So if you have those, feel free to contact one of us. If you are brand new and you've never been part of Center Street, as I said before, we want to get you connected. If this is something that you're interested in pursuing, why not throw !connect in the chat. That's all one word and lowercase, and we'll be able to start getting you connected to a group of really awesome people who want to walk along with you and help answer these questions. So we'd love to have you join us formally. If you're not wanting to be formally part of that, that's okay. We still want to invite you to be part of this conversation that we're going to be having weekly. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that.
Yeah, I just want to remind you guys, just share the link when we go live to friends. I know there's been some people that I've been hearing that have been talking with other people. But guys, like, this is a great opportunity to just start those questions. A lot of people are at home kind of questioning things. Where are we going from here? So what a perfect time for us to reach out and just get people chatting away.
Yeah, so. And what's really cool is that some people would never step foot in a church. For whatever reason, they don't want to come to church. But clicking on a link to watch a YouTube live stream and have conversation that way is way more attainable for them. That's something that is a little less taboo for them some reason. So maybe some of your friends are a little more open to having these conversations than they would have been otherwise. So we want to leave it at that because I do see the time. We have a knack for going right to the last minute. So yes, make sure you share this with a friend. Pray about and think about who you might want to invite, because maybe there's somebody in your life that you didn't think about that the Lord will prompt you and say, hey, maybe this person should be part of this conversation because I really want to know them better and want them to know me. And that you could be part of that process, which is super cool. So thank you guys so much for coming and starting this conversation with us. We can't wait to continue wrestling through all these questions with you. Just so you know, we've got lots of stuff coming down the pike for the next couple of weeks as well with our regular rhythms. We also have Zoom chats that are going to be happening like now, so I'm going to wrap this up really fast. Thank you guys for coming. Jono, can you pray for us and our Zoom conversations?
I would love to. Lord, thank you so much for this time that we get together, that we get to have fun and just to dialogue about these things. I pray that you be with everyone in their home today, God, everyone that's just missing how things were. God, I pray your presence would be so strong today. And Lord, as they jump on Zoom calls, that community would still continue, God, that we are still walking with you. We're not alone because you are with us. And so we thank you so much for this time. In your name we pray.
Amen. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We love you. We love your leaders. Thank you guys so much for being part of our youth team. You guys are amazing. We can't do this without you, so thank you for being part of our team. We hope you have a blessed rest of your evening and that your conversations are amazing. We love you guys very much. God bless and have a good night.
We'll see you guys later.